As you know, the platform isn't just brilliant live broadcasting and talk radio. It also, we publish columns from a wide range of New Zealanders talking about the current events and politics in our country today. And one of the most read when we're looking at it, and this has been published widely, and there's nothing wrong with that, is a piece by our mate Bryce Edwards from the Democracy Project at Victoria University entitled 10 Reasons for Labour's Decline in Support. I would typify it and have typified it as an early obituary for Labour's 2023 election campaign. And boy, can I tell you, amongst the chattering, lanyard-wearing classes on social media and the like, it has got the tongues wagging. And what I like about Bryce Edwards is everyone, when people don't like him, everyone doesn't like him, and he doesn't give a stuff. He joins us now. Bryce, how are you?
Hi, Sean. I'm good, thanks.
Boy, you stirred the pot with this column, didn't you?
Did I? I'm not so sure.
Oh, you've been trending on X and things.
Oh, good.
Look, I thought it was bold to write it now rather than afterwards. What is it that you have observed about an election campaign? And I'm just looking at the Talbot Mills that has Labour going from 52% of the vote to literally halving its support in 3 years.
I've never seen anything like it. I've been searching around globally for signs of a government that have collapsed like this. You know, this is going, from 50% to something like 25, 26%. It's unprecedented. It's unprecedented in New Zealand political history or globally, I think, to have a government like this, unless there's some sort of revolution or something. And I guess there is something of a revolution going on at the moment. People are really voting no in big numbers to what the Labour government have achieved or not achieved, as is the case, I think.
Is it a reflection of this election or the weirdness, I'm wondering, Bryce, of the last election? The 2020 election, which gave them the majority.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that was an aberration, 2020, when people pretty much, gave a referendum on Jacinda Ardern's performance and the saving of the country from COVID. And, there was a lot to celebrate, and there was, at the time, there was a real triumphant sort of mood in the country that little old New Zealand, there's a lot of nationalism involved.
Yeah.
We had done something that no other country in the world had done, was sort of the feeling. And
I remember going the morning after that election to a test match at Eden Park. Australia plays New Zealand.
Yep.
And, man, the mood was just amazing.
Yes. So just extreme positivity. And all the poll results that ask people whether, the country's on the right track and all those sort of mood things were extremely positive. And so, Labour caught that wave and, they got more than perhaps they should have. But, and of course, they loved getting 50% of the vote. And they, it made them feel unbeatable. And that's always a bit of a curse.
But it looks like they are going to be beaten. You've given us 10 reasons why that support evaporated. Give us the top three, Bryce.
Oh, the top three, probably the lack of transformation, the lack of delivering on anything would be up there.
Yep.
People just feel that this government hasn't actually
despite a parliamentary majority, it hasn't delivered.
Yep. Probably just the state of the economy.
Yep.
People are worse off than they were a few years ago, and that's a good reason to vote against the government, I think.
Yep.
Especially if you feel they've got no solutions for it. And thirdly, I'd say would be the focus on social liberal concerns. You might call them woke concerns.
Culture wars. The culture wars.
Culture wars over kind of what Labour used to be quite good at, which was working class concerns. They've changed from working class to woke, really.
Yeah.
And I think that's turned a lot of people off.
Oh, working class to woke. I'm going to use that. I'm going to nick that if I can.
But it's a party for the woking class.
All right. Look, I don't disagree with those top three, and your full article has more in them.
It's just a starting point. It's a starting point, Sean. I mean, other people have some reasons for why this government has had such a spectacular collapse. I've seen other people mention crime, which I didn't really get into at all.
Yeah, but that's linked to the economy, to your second thing, the economy. You know, those follow each other. Yeah.
Yeah. There is no doubt a big concern with law and order in this country, and the government is seen as not being very well connected with that, shall we say.
Yeah.
So, and there's lots of other reasons, and there will need to be something of a post-mortem, especially by the Labour Party and by those on the left that want to learn the lessons for why this has been such a tragedy of a government. So I'm just throwing in 10...
and that's your job, is to observe. Bryce, you know, it's very easy for generations of people to believe that the way things are is set in stone, that we have a National Party, a Labour Party, and these other parties, and they're there, and that's the way the world is. The fact is that politics isn't like that. It changes. Parties rise and fall and come and go, and new coalitions emerge. I mean, when I started reporting on Parliament in the 80s, New Zealand First didn't exist. Gosh, it now seems to be a persistent thing that will not die. The ACT Party didn't exist. I can remember the formation of the Green Party. Is the Labour Party in danger if it doesn't get back to being working class? Could it, if you like, become a secondary party? Is there that sort of change, do you think, abroad?
Oh, look, that's a really good question. I don't think I have any particular insights into that, but you're right about we can't just expect the Labour Party to exist and come back to government in a future election. And I think there will be a lot of, let's say, infighting, and there'll be a lot of, I don't know how to put this, but there's potential splits from the party, essentially. There could be something that goes off to the left, something off to the right. And as we know in the past, yes, both ACT and Alliance really are, or the Greens these days, were splits from the Labour Party. And so it's a coalition of lots of different forces, and they've been kept kind of artificially all united over the last few years. And they've done a reasonably good job of being united, but I'm not sure that will hold. And I think there's probably room for some sort of party that's more a traditional social democratic working class party. And, people, assume that that's the Greens for some reason, but it's not at all. The Greens are much more of a middle class social liberal party.